Today, what I want to do is talk about what to do if you're feeling stuck. And the thing I'm going to talk about is something I call the 3 levels of stuckness. Now, as a warning, this is something I've completely made up. This is not something I've ever actually studied before, not something I've read, but it's just something that I've experienced over the last 12 years coaching. And I've worked with over 200 people in person and probably a couple thousand online. So this is something I'm pretty experienced at, and I want to just talk to you guys about it because I feel like everybody today in 2026 is kind of feeling stuck, feeling stagnant, feeling like they're trying to move forward, but nothing seems to be working. And the 3 levels of stuckness, if you could kind of identify what level you're at, and then the solution I'll give you and work with that, maybe you could finally let go of it and move forward. How does that sound? All right, so I'm gonna share some stories because I feel like most people learn best when they hear stories, because most of the times people don't remember what you say, they remember how you make them feel. So my goal is to capture you emotionally right now through stories. That way you can hopefully grab the lesson and apply it. That's the most important thing. Apply what you believe will be useful to you, because it's all about action, all right? So, first level of stuckness. I'll just share a story. If you guys watch my post a lot of times when I do my stretches, I often have a bell in the background, a little purple bell. Now the bell is just a YouTube video. That's all it is. And a lot of people ask me about the bell. They feel like it's some type of special app. It's some type of special gong. It's just a bell. All you gotta do is go on YouTube, type in 30-second bell, and there's thousands of bells will pop up, right? And when I first started doing this, people used to reach out to me or they used to comment like, hey, can you send me the bell? And I would do it. But what happened is it would be like 50 to 100 people asking for the bell. And I would literally DM each of them the YouTube video. But then what happened was Instagram thought I was spamming people and they pretty much flagged my account. So I stopped doing that. However, people still ask me about the bell, and oftentimes I don't really respond anymore because, you know, I get lots of messages. And if you can't YouTube a bell, that's something you got to work on, okay? But anyways, when people DM me, sometimes what happens is the messages get sent to a spam box. So sometimes I don't see it. It gets sent to a spam box, I don't see it, and it just often goes unnoticed. But every once in a while, I check my spam box. And I found this one guy who asked me about the bell maybe about 7 months ago. And over the course of the last 7 months, he would say, hey, can you send me the bell? Then the next message would be like weeks later, it'll be like bell ? Then from there, it'll be ? Then from there, it'll be angry emoji. Now, this is over the course of months. And then finally, when I read his last DM, it was an insult saying, I thought you was X, Y, and Z. You're just this. And the things he said about me wasn't so nice. So he decided to unfollow me. Now, this doesn't bother me. However, going back to feeling stuck, levels of stuckness. This guy is literally blaming the outside world on why he's feeling stuck, because he truly believes that the only thing holding him back from doing my 20-second stretches or my 90-second routines is if he had a bell, it would make his life so easy he would be able to do the stretches. He believes if he had a freaking bell, mind you, he could use his phone for a timer to do 30 seconds and go off. That way he could rotate into the different stretches. But over the course of months, constantly messaging me to the point where he just felt entitled. Bell, ? Angry emoji. He believes that if he doesn't have the bell, he can't do the stretches. So he's feeling stuck. This level of stuckness is very, very dangerous. What this level of stuckness is I blame the outside world on why I'm at where I'm at. I'm a product of my environment. I'm a product of circumstances, and it's not my fault. It's somebody else's issue. If the Chinese guy, meaning me, would have just sent me the bell, I could have did the stretches. That way I could have released my back pain, released my emotions, or whatever he believes the stretches are gonna do, he would have been able to do the stretches. But because the Chinese guy didn't send him the bell, it's my fault. That's why he's feeling stuck. Now, I don't know this person per se. Maybe he's not feeling stuck. But the thing is, as a person who's worked with over 200 people in person, a lot of times when people are feeling stuck, they don't ever look at themselves. They blame things outside of themselves. And I would say, honestly, if I honestly had to say, and this sounds very, very cruel, 95% of the population is stuck at this level. It's not my fault. It's not my responsibility. It's things outside of myself. Now, granted, yes, in extreme circumstances, it is. It is. But for most people, let's be honest, particularly if you're living in a first world country, you have access to an internet, you have a cell phone in your hand that's made by slaves, by the way. A cell phone in your hand that's made by slaves, by the way. I'll say it again. A cell phone in your hand that's made by slaves, by the way. For you to just complain about the outside world. So I feel like 95% of the population is stuck at this level where they're blaming the outside world. Now, I'm hoping if you watch my content long enough, particularly my longer form content, you're not stuck at this level. But if you are, if you're still blaming your mom, blaming your father, blaming your boss, blaming your job, blaming your spouse, blaming your kids, blaming your genetics, something outside of yourself. If you really want to get out of it, all you got to do is turn the mirror back to yourself and say, this is my responsibility. I'm the issue. I'm the issue. And you can literally say it right now. I'm the issue. And because I'm the issue, that means I could take back my power, let it go, and move forward. So that's the first level of stuckness that most people, I would say 95% of the population is stuck at. And in my opinion, unless you're one of the extreme circumstances, like an extreme circumstance, because people like to go to the extreme, fine, you could be stuck at that level. Blame the outside world. But if you have a cell phone in your hand, again, made by slaves, so you could get it, so we could get it for what, $800, $700, $600? Technology that we could listen to people all over the world. We have access to so much. Like I made a video a couple of days ago about how easy it is to actually make money if you stop thinking about yourself, use the information that you're gathering and translate it and serve others, you could make money. And I remember people really, really got upset with that video. It's pretty funny because they didn't like the fact that, yes, making money, if you choose to stop thinking about yourself, look outside of yourself, see the problems in the world that people are going through, which requires you to stop thinking about yourself. How can you help others? And then create an offer and sell it to them. You can make a little bit of money. At least the extra $500 to $1,000 a month, particularly if you have access to social media. You could just share your message. I did it. And if you guys aren't paying attention, my videos aren't that good. Like, it's low quality videos. It's literally, I hit the button, I do a stretch, I don't edit it much. It's cheap, low effort. I'm not doing much. Yes, I gotta be a little creative with the storytelling, with the hooks, how to grab people's attention. But other than that, it's easy. And I shouldn't say how much I make, but I make good money doing this on top of doing the actual work I do in person. So if you have access to an internet, a phone, social media, there's no excuse. So if you're feeling stuck financially, turn the mirror back onto yourself and take some responsibility. But I'm assuming if you're watching my content, particularly the longer form content, you're not at that level. All right, so that's the first level of stuckness. But if you're a person who wants to be a coach, recognize that most people are stuck. They just blame things outside of themselves. They don't take responsibility. There's actually a great marketing book. It's called the One Sentence Persuasion Course. And it says in the One Sentence Persuasion, one of the most powerful things you could do is help people throw rocks at their enemies. Because everybody feels like it's not their fault they're in the situation. They have an enemy, an imaginary enemy outside of themselves that they have to fight. And if you could show them how you could take down their enemy, you could make millions of dollars. Millions. Pay attention. Pay attention to how brands do it. They create this imaginary enemy or real enemy that you believe is real, and they help you throw rocks at them. They help you defeat them. And then they sell you something to go defeat them. They sell you the weapon so you could go defeat them. But that's level one. Level number 2 of stuckness is I'll wait for it to be perfect before I take action. What does this mean? I remember when I first got into self-development. This was in 2010, and I started reading books. And I was fascinated with self-development, spiritual books. I was so fascinated with this stuff. And I would read the stories and I would get so much inspiration, realizing that I'm not at level 1 no more. I don't have to blame my outside environment. I could take back my power, take back my control, and actually do something about it. But I would read these books. And every time a book would say something to the degree like, stop what you're doing right now, take out a pen and paper, and do this exercise. Or stop what you're doing right now, go outside and go talk to 3 strangers. Something to that degree. Don't read any further. Every time that would pop up for me, I would just want to do it. I'd be like, it's not the right time. And as opposed to actually doing the exercise and getting the benefit, what I would do is just continue reading. It's called, in self-development, mental masturbation. It's like I'm just feeding my mental, and I'm just getting all of this knowledge, thinking one day I will do something when I'm ready. This is level 2. Now, I bring this up, I'm gonna use another example is content, right? The amount of people that know me personally, that come to me, I get at least one person a day come up to me that knows me, that talks to me about doing content. And every time they talk to me about doing content, they say they'll do, and mind you, they're coming to me for advice. They say something to the degree to me like, when I get this camera, that's when I'll start. When I get this GoPro, I'll start. I know there's this dude that I go to my local pizzeria to. He always talks to me about content. And he was telling me how he wants to make content in his car. And I hope he doesn't watch this. I don't think he'll make it this far in the video. But every time he talks to me, he says he has a nice car, he wants to make content in the car, but he's talking about buying all of this like technology that costs like $7, $8, $9, $1,000. He wants to get that technology first. That way he can make the content look cool, the content look good. And I go, bro, you have a phone. To the dude that told me he needed to go, you have a phone. You could do it now when the situation is not perfect. Again, for me, all of my content that I've made and made tons of money. So I'll just be honest, I make over 5 figures a month just creating content. And obviously selling digital products and stuff like that. On top of that, I pick up clients in person. I meet people. The fact that I have a big social media presence makes me look like a figure of authority, which means I could charge nice prices in person because I'm highly in demand. I've made all of my content just using my phone. Look at this video. This video, I'm doing the FaceTime video. I'm just walking, I'm talking. My mic is broken. Usually, I used to have a mic. It broke about maybe 4 days ago. Now I'm using the phone mic, so the audio probably doesn't sound good. But just making this video, I'm making content. It's not the ideal situation, but I'm doing it anyway. So for you, if you think one day there will be a perfect moment, it's not coming. What I would suggest to you is you already know what you have to do. Do it now. The amount of people that reach out to me, particularly on my stretch post, that ask in the comment section. Like, I don't believe there's such thing as a dumb question, but there is an unnecessary question. People ask me questions, when's the best time to do this? Should I do it before coffee or after coffee? Should I do it before I brush my teeth or after I brush my teeth? Morning or night? When's the best time to do this? How about do it now? Stop waiting for the best time and just do it now. Get it done. And if you start having that attitude, I'm gonna get it done, you'll be shocked at how much you actually start to move forward. So that's the second level, is people think there's gonna be an ideal situation, an ideal moment, a perfect time. There isn't. Just get it done, even if it's sloppy, even if it's messy. And the third one is you're already taking action, but the thing you're doing isn't working. It's not working. And you're not analyzing the data and saying, hey, this isn't working. Maybe I should do something else. So I'll give you a great example of this. This is back in 2016. I hope this client doesn't see it. Maybe I'll change the details a little bit. I had a client come to me. She weighed 170 pounds. And I'm gonna keep this brief. 170 pounds, she wanted to lose weight. She's been working out for 3 to 4 years. I asked her, what are you currently doing? She's doing every spin class, every Zumba class. She loves the high intensity exercises. Me being a personal trainer, I know that's garbage. If you're trying to lose weight, you know what you should be doing? And most people don't know this. You should be lifting weights. And not only lifting weights, even if you're a woman, you should be lifting heavy weights. Why? Because when you build muscle, your metabolism speeds up. Big time. Lifting weights is priority, not cardio. Lifting weights. On top of that, monitoring the diet. But I remember, first couple of sessions, I remember it was the second session and she told me we didn't work out hard enough. I didn't sweat. And I said, well, the idea here is to do something called progressive overload, which means load the weight, increase the reps, whatever. That way we could build muscle. But she says, yeah, but I want to sweat and I don't feel sore. I said, these are all myths. This is not going to get you to your goal. And her goal at the time was like 135. She was 170. Anyway, she trained with me 3 times a week. We started monitoring the diet. And I remember this because one day she sent me a picture and she weighed 148 pounds, lost 22 pounds over the course of like 3 months. And I remember texting her back saying, haha, and you didn't even have to sweat, right? Because I remember she kept complaining to me, like, we're not working hard enough. And I said, trust me, I know what the hell I'm doing. I know what we're doing. Anyway, at the time, I was working from 5 a.m. to 11:30. Then I would go to school from 1 to 5. And then I would come back and train from 7 to 9. She was one of the clients that I trained late at night. Now, I couldn't do it anymore because after months of doing this schedule, I was starting to feel burnt out. And I remember I asked her, I said, look, can you do the weekends? She said, no, because the weekends is where she does Zumba and stuff like that, and the spin classes. I said, all right, well, I'll give you to another trainer. I ended up giving her another trainer. This trainer was the high intensity guy. And I'm gonna cut this brief. What ends up happening is she chose Zumba over working with me over the weekend because it's what she liked to do. This is how she wanted to lose the weight. She wanted to lose the weight doing the things that she wanted to do, as opposed to doing the things that actually worked. Long story short, and I'm gonna cut this short, she ended up gaining the weight all back. So she went from 148 back to 170. And all because she did what it is she wanted to do, as opposed to doing what actually works. So how do you transcend this? How do you take it to the next level? How do you get out of this level of stuckness? If you're currently doing something and it's not working, it's very, very simple. Do what she did, which is hire an expert that knows what they're doing. And two, listen. Listen to somebody who already knows how to get you there. I'll say that again. Listen to somebody who already knows how to get you there. And just shut up and do it. And if it's working, work with it. Again, you don't get to do what you want to do. Do what works. Because a lot of us who are at this level of stuckness, we want things to work the way we want it to work. We want a result and we want it to work this way. But it doesn't work that way. You need to be healed enough to pull back and say, hey, this isn't working. Although for her, she wanted to do the Zumba classes, the spin classes, the high intensity. She wanted to do the sweating. She wanted to, feel sore. Meanwhile, she has somebody like me who spent $15,000 on his education to be a personal trainer. Did 9 months of schooling. Your typical trainer only does like a little certification and a multiple choice test. He studies a little textbook. I did 9 months of schooling. She knew this. She knew this. Also, I told her, hey, these classes, they don't work. Not that they don't work, but the main way to lose weight is just cut out the carbs, lower your carbs, increase your protein, be mindful of what you're eating, make sure you're in a caloric deficit, and you'll lose weight. Now, if you want to enhance that, lifting weight so you build muscle, so you speed up your metabolism, that way the weight loss actually looks good. And for a lot of women, because I trained mostly women, and a lot of people on here will say, how come you always talk about women? Because 88% of my audience is women. Majority of the people that come to me, particularly when it comes to the emotional side, the emotional stuff. You think guys are coming to me for emotional stuff? So, because women have called me out. Some women have called me out on that. Like, why you always mention women? Because that's who I mostly work with. That's who mostly my audience is. But anyway, for her, if you're a woman, lifting weights, women tend to think they're going to get big, bulky, swole. No, it doesn't work like that. In order for you to get that big and bulky, you have to have the goal to get that big and bulky. And trust me, I used to be pretty fit. I used to be pretty strong. I used to lift pretty heavy. And the amount of bulk I had was like, it was good for me, but it's not what you think. So a lot of times with women, they used to think, well, if I lift weights, I'm going to look like a man. No, you're not. You don't have that level of testosterone to look like a man. And even if you did, if you started to get bulky and you didn't like the look, as soon as you stop lifting, it would just lift lighter. The muscle would be gone. Just like that. It's not like fat. Fat stays around forever. Muscle disappears like that. But anyway, the third level of stuckness is you're doing something currently. So for instance, for people making content and they're feeling stuck, hire somebody. Or look to experts who are doing well in your niche and model them and do what they do. Don't talk shit about them. And try what they're doing. Try the strategies that they're doing because they're where you want to be. It's amazing. Like, so this stage is like, it's called for me, the level of stuckness is, I want it to work the way I want it to work. I want it to work the way I want it to work. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. Reality doesn't work like that. You have to work with reality. And being healed spiritually means you do what works, you don't do what you want to do. You do what works, you don't do what you want to do. So if you're at that level, the advice there is hire somebody or look to somebody who's in your field, who has what it is you want and model their behavior, or pay them. Pay them for some advice, for some knowledge. And the advice and knowledge they give you, shut up and do it. Because the amount of people that come to me, and this is unfortunate when it comes to content now, that come to me and ask me for advice, they don't ever do what I tell them to do because they're not paying me. Because I'm so free about it. I give it away for free. I want everybody to win. I want everybody to win. I want everybody to transcend. I want everybody to let go. I want everybody to be in a state of release. I want everybody to be happy. Unfortunately, people are lazy. People are lazy. People have too much ego. They don't know how to shut up. They don't know how to listen. They don't know how to open their heart. Like right now, my mentor, when it comes to making content, he's 10 years younger than me. I'm 30, I'll be 37, he's 27. He's way better than me at making content. The amount of advice he's given me is crazy. And every time he tells me to do something, because, especially, I should be paying him because this guy has made me tens of thousands of dollars. The advice he's given me and I've taken from him, I've just done what he did. I should be paying him a lot of money. I probably owe him like $5,000, $10,000. I should just give it to him. But I hang with him maybe 3 to 4 days a week. And I help him out in certain situations too. So it's an even trade. It's an exchange in value. But when he tells me to do something, I shut up and listen and try it more than once. I don't just try it once and say, hey, it didn't work. Or if it doesn't work, I ask him about it. And he gives me the advice. And whatever he tells me again, I go and do it again. I shut up. I listen. Because he's at a place when it comes to making content that I want to be. But to me, those are the 3 levels of stuckness. Level 1 is I blame the outside world. If you want to and this is where 95% of the world is at. 95% of the world is, everything is outside of myself. I'm not the problem, the world is the problem. If you want to help somebody, and more than likely if you made it this far, if you want to help somebody, realize that you got to get them to turn the mirror back on themselves. Level 2 is I'm going to wait for the perfect moment. No, do it now. Do it when it's not perfect. Do it when it's not ideal. Train yourself to do it now. Take the time out now. Like when you ask me, when's the best time to do the stretches? Now. When's the best time to do? Now. When's the best? Now. 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 Just say that. Now. And then the third part is if you're currently taking action to get out of your stuckness and it's not working, please hire somebody. Either find somebody who has what you want and watch them from a distance and model them, or go pay them. And people are so against these days of paying people. What you don't understand is, let's say you pay somebody $1,000, there should be an ROI. If you pay somebody $1,000, the advice they're giving you should give you back $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000. Like the things, the kid I just told you about who's 10 years younger than me, the advice he's given me has made me so much money. And if I would have been paying him, right now he has like a monthly membership for $97 a month. It's well worth it. The $97 a month, if I was in it, would be well worth it because I'm making an extra thousands of dollars a month based off the $97 a month of advice he's given me. So just hire somebody, shut up, listen, and just do it. Don't be like my client I told you about, where she wanted to fight with me every step of the way. Mind you, she was already paying me. Like, why are you paying me for? Everything you've done hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. And if it hasn't worked, something's up. You need to change up your strategy. And that's what I did with her. And we got her down, I remember, to 148. She went from 170, 148. But she just didn't want to come work with me on the weekends. She wanted to do her Zumba, and she ended up working with some other trainer who did the high intensity stuff. And there's nothing against the high intensity stuff, as long as you're monitoring the diet. But she just wanted to do the Zumba and the dance and the spin. And I'm like, yo, those classes are destroying your metabolism. But anyways, those are the 3 levels of stuckness. I'm in a dark spot. I hope you got some value out of it. If you did, as always, leave some feedback in the comment section below. Peace.